Hey Chase, this is a lesson. We did two lessons this last week, and this is the one we did with short game on Saturday afternoon. Just following up with you, this position here is, piece de resistance really, really good. So the feeling we've had you making with your short game shots in general is that we're trying to get you to control the energy in the head of the club more with your hands and wrists. So the takeaway is more handsy, and it's going to feel like the club shaft is laying off and the face is opening. So it's an opening feel, a rounding opening feel. So wrists cocking back, club opening out, and then when you're coming back in, we're going to be dropping the club back in towards the ball. So we can see with these two practice swings, that's what we're close to achieving that. These shots here are two of your better shots that we made in the session that we had. We can see here that there's still, on the right panel here, it's still a little bit late with the wrist cock. It's not much there at that point. It could be more there, and we can see it kind of flicks in. And when it flicks in that last section of the backswing, it tends to get overcocked. Because you haven't cocked enough at the start, then the top gets kind of cocking in there late. This is definitely better, and we can see that your hands are getting back to almost square with the ball when you're making contact here. Okay, now this position here in the follow through is a much improved position. You can actually, because you've got better control of the energy in the head of the club working back and down, you now have a chance to actually stop it shorter in your follow through, and that's going to give you more of a bopped finish. So we talked about your bunker shots. We want to have an element of hit with all of your bunker shots. The reason why we want that is the consistency of the surface isn't always what we want it to be, and if we're going in there with slow, smooth tempo and hitting it through softly, the sand, when we hit the sand before the ball, it's going to dictate to us more what's going to happen rather than us controlling the club and giving the ground more of a hit and controlling the result more by us dictating to the ground what it's going to do with the sand and the ball. Vice versa, if the ground dictates to us, if we find a hard patch of sand that we couldn't see underneath the ball, it's pretty difficult for the club to react the way we want the club to react. It's more than likely it's going to do something we don't want it to do, bounce or stick in, or a lot of different options. So the other thing with this is that if we can control the length of your follow through, we can also control the length the ball goes. It's much easier to get the club to be bouncing in correctly. It's much easier to also control the energy to a point where you can shorten and lengthen your follow through. So for example, if we want a short shot that's really soft, popping up with spin, we're going to follow through to here. We want a little bit longer one that's still high with a bit of spin. We're going to throw it through to, well, actually it should be probably about here actually, because your arms are moving forward as well. And then we want a longer one where we're going to hit the ball up, and maybe we've got to go up a tier, and we've got a short pin that's about a 20-yard carry, 58 degree, longer follow through, same idea with the backswing and towards impact. So your control of distance can be done a lot by the follow through. So your stance width here is good, center of mass is down nice and low, wrist cocking back and open, wrist popping the club back in behind the ball, and it's going to be kind of a hitting, stopping motion to control the distance for a standard bunker shot. And we can see the ball here nicely popping up softly. We can actually see the ball here exiting the screen nice and soft. Okay, that was the idea with our bunker shots and lob shots. Bunker shots and lob shots are almost identical with what we're trying to get them to achieve. The feeling on the pitch shots was we really needed to, actually one thing we did with both of these that was important was to keep your weight on your left side. We can see here with this pitch shot, your weight's kind of pulling back to your right foot. To get that amount of swivel back into your hips here, your weight has to be pulling back into your right side. So we don't want that weight moving that way at all, because if your weight moves and swivels around, the club can swing left, and we can see that a little bit with this shot. The club swings left and the ball shoots up a lot higher than what you're expecting, because it's a bit of a swipe across. When you swipe, your hands will block open, rather than when you swing down the line, the club face is going to turn over a bit more and have more of a solid contact to it. So it's not going to be so swiping underneath. So weight stays in the left side, stance is a bit narrower, hands cocking up and away. So this is really good progress, mate, and we're going to do a fair bit more with this. If anything, we're probably going to be focusing more on this sort of thing in the future than what we are with your full swing. Your full swing's coming along nicely, but doing what we're doing with both helps both. If we were just to work purely on your full swing, then your practice sessions with your short game would impact negatively upon your full swing with the technique that you utilise. It's the old technique, so we want to try and change both at the same time so they work in conjunction with each other better. Well done. Good luck with the well done, and practice hard. You're making great progress, Chase. Keep up the good work.